Introduction to the benefits of Humate. Humate is an accessible raw mineral that is used in agriculture. 1. For remicroizing dead soil that has been conventionally farmed for years with seeds and glyphosate. Humate is known to stimulate microbial activity. In soil testing for microbial activity, levels increased 400 to 5,000 times with the introduction of Humate, 300 parts per million, into the soil. 2. Putting it in the seedbed for increased germination as it is highly energetic. 3. Using it in foliar sprays raises the ERGS energy level for plants and increases the efficacy of the foliar. 4. Using Humate for animal supplements, in the form of a Humate drink, or dry feed, as a source of mineral and organic substances, for growth stimulation. Humate is a safe material, and exists in all soils, plants, and animals. It is natural to the food chain, and plays a role in the composting of dead matter into nutrients, transfer of minerals, and other roles within the living organism. Observational reports from farmers using the Humate in their feeding programs have reported additional weight gains and healthy livestock on beef cattle, hogs, chickens, emus and earthworms. Mineral transfer. Humate contain both humic and fulvic acids. The fulvic acid is the chelator that carries the minerals. The humic acid acts as dilator, increasing the cell wall permeability. This increased permeability allows easier transfer of minerals from the blood to the bone and cells. Testing on cows has indicated an increase of 16% more calcium. Studies has reported that humates block or reduce the production of stress-causing hormones. This has been observed in animal behavior, in particular with show calves, first entering the arena. Animals on Humate are less affected by the outside stimulus of the crowds, or confining areas, of the arena. This effect has been noted on sheep, horses, cattle and hogs. In dairy operations, those animals not on Humate aggressively eat their feed rations while Humate animals leisurely graze. Laboratory testing at Penn State physically restrained rats, by binding them to artificially create stress, and measured hormones known to cause stress. Those rats, fed Humate, showed significantly less amounts of those hormones. Odor reduction. A study done by Texas A&M University system researchers have discovered that using Humate decreases volatile ammonia in animal waste by 64%, reduces odor, and improves the nitrogen to phosphorus ration in the waste. Scientists are developing ration formulations to enhance manure characteristics while maintaining animal performance, as well as devising other approach to maintain feedlot efficiency and manage waste. Observations from field trials on dairy animals indicate a more complete digestion of feed as observed from the manure and urine. Manure from the Humate test herd consisted of fine particle, low odor matter, while control animals contained lumps of corn and straw and high ammonia odors. Urine from the test herd was clear and odorless, while the control herd was amber with odor. A similar effect has been observed on hogs. Hydrogen sulfide, H2S, rotten egg odor, has also been reduced by the addition of Humate to the mix. Wagner Quarries Company has demonstrated reductions in H2S by Humate interaction. The mechanism is not fully understood, but results indicate good odor reduction. Case histories. Beef cattle. A study done by Texas A&M under the leadership of Dr. Kyrace performed Humate feeding trials on steers at a feedlot in the Amarillo area. Reported results of the 56-day study indicated a 12% increase in feed efficiency. Manure samples were of a fine texture with reduced odor. Blood data indicated increases in hemoglobin and antioxidants. Follow-up testing on the odor indicated a 64% reduction in ammonia from the animal waste when Humate was mixed into it. A farmer in Waco, Texas, mixed Humates into the rations of a mature cow and 3 calves. Reports after 60 days indicated coloration and health of the animals to be excellent. Weight gain on the calves was reported to be above the norm. Although no usable data was collected on this test, the cattleman did report something that was significant. He had been trying to breed the cow over a 3-year period without success. During the testing period, the cow became pregnant. Dairy test. Studies in Canton, Texas. This test was run on 500 high-producing dairy cattle over a 28-day period. Milk, blood and animal waste were analyzed before, during and after the testing period. The introduction of the Humate into the diet produced 1.9 pounds of extra milk daily per animal. The feed consumption dropped from 38 pounds per day to 36 pounds per day during the test. At the conclusion of the test period, consumption returned to 38 pounds. With these changes in feed quantities, it can be concluded that the animal was digesting its nutrient more completely, thus creating greater milk production. Additionally, the humates produced a calming effect on the animals as exhibited by lowered aggressiveness in eating and reduced the effects of heat stresses produced by summer temperatures. Lactation decline curves flattened significantly during the testing period. This indicates that longer milking periods can be achieved, raising the cumulative amounts of milk received from each cow. Odors from the animal wastes were reduced. Less volumes of manure and reductions in ammonia odor results in less waste and reduces the effects of potential insect-borne diseases. Goats were studied in Sunset, Texas. Nursing female goats were experiencing mastitis, tit infection, and would not allow the kids to nurse. Humate was introduced into the ration and within 1 week all infection had cleared up. Studies in Brady, Texas. Angora goats are being fed Humate to improve the quality of the wool. Reports from the wool buyers indicate that the Humate-fed goats have longer staple and more lanolin in the wool. Pricing on Angora wool is based on quality. Hogs. In hogs as studied by Dr. Matt Colvin, DMV reports that using Humate in the diet to treat scours in piglets. His experience with the Humate indicates that it is a very effective treatment. Additionally, he reported additional weight gain with meat that is lean with good textured and excellent taste. Reproduction from the Humate-fed sows is excellent and produces larger than normal piglets. Rattan, ostrich, emus. Studies in Clayton, New Mexico. A farmer raising ostrich has reported plumage development on young birds has been accelerated. Eggshell development is excellent and uniform. The yolks are reported to be firmer. A greater percentage of hatchings are being produced. The farmer also reported that hoof rotation has ceased to be a problem. Hoof rotation is a problem on long-legged animals. It results when tendon and muscle grow faster than bone in young animal and results in a clubfoot. Prior to the Humate, the farmer was experiencing about 5% of his young birds experiencing some degree of hoof rotation. Since the introduction of Humate, bone growth has kept up with muscle growth and reduced hoof rotation problems to below 0.5%. Studies in Waco, Texas. The farmer was raising emus. Since the market price on emus had fallen, he was allowing the flock to forage and supplementing with millet, a low-cost feed. At the time the Humates were introduced into the diet, the birds were in poor to fair shape. Hot summer temperatures had taken their toll on the birds and plumage and skin were in poor condition. Humate was fed over a 60-day period. The health of the birds greatly improved and plumage became excellent with bright coloring. Under hot dry conditions the females do not start the reproduction cycle until late fall when the summer heat breaks. The females in this flock started the reproduction cycle in mid-September, still hot. The only way this can happen is for the bird to be in excellent health. Chickens. Adding Humate to the fodder of broiler chickens increases the yield mass on average of 5 to 7%. Studies in Purcell, Oklahoma. 2 pens, 20 each, of newly hatched chicks were used for a test and control. The test birds were fed Humate in the diet while the control was not. Feather development came earlier on the Humate birds. The test group was fully feathered, a full week ahead of the control group. Weight gain of the test group after 30 days amounted to 1.5 pound more mass than the control group. Of notice was the calming factor of the Humate. One could enter the test pen and the birds continued with their normal pecking and wanderings while those in the control pen would become extremely excited and run with wildness. The test was continued onward for a period of 6 months. The mature birds were monitored for egg production. Egg shells from the Humate group were thicker and more uniform in size. Hatchling chicks from the test group were larger and more active. Horses. I excerptive letter from Cutting Horse owner in Boyd, Texas. I started using Humate in my horses 6 years ago. I have found that even in the winter when the animal's hair is long and coarse, that my horses have a deep, rich, shining coat and bright eyes. They are very alert but not hyper. I haven't had a sick horse in years and their hooves grow well and hold a shoe extremely well. My horse's overall health and performance, since I have been feeding the Humate, is excellent. Studies in Willow Springs, Texas. Willow Springs is the site of a large training area for racing and cutting horses for the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. The training regimen for these animals is quite intense. Front ankle injuries with swelling are quite common and require several weeks of inactivity to heal properly. This inactivity extends the expensive training time. Several of the trainers tested the Humates in their animals. They found that healing times for the ankle injuries were reduced by 1 to 2 weeks. In timing trials, the Humate horses were performing better. It is not uncommon for a quarter horse on Humate to be able to shed a few tenths of a second on his time. In quarter horse racing, those few tenths can mean the difference between winning and losing. Fort Worth, Texas. This horse was a successful registered Western pleasure paint that suddenly came up with severe degenerating hooves. The attending farrier hadn't seen such a severe case in years. On all 4 hooves, there was insufficient nail to place a shoe. Humate was introduced into the ration. Hoof grow-out was immediately outstanding. Shoes were able to be put on in about 4 to 5 months and the horse was back in the show ring. The farrier was shocked at the improvement. Disclaimer: this informational video presents a collection of statements from around the world about the benefits of Humate, humic, and fulvic acids. This information is provided for informational purposes only. These statements were variously made over several decades of time. This video does not intend to provide medical advice, nor does it intend to suggest that all humic acid preparations will be of equal benefit. The FDA has not evaluated any statement made on this informational video. The information herein is not intended to diagnose any disease, nor is it intended to prescribe any preparation that claims to diagnose, treat, cure or prevent any disease. The content of this video is not to be considered medical advice.